Hello people, welcome to Life Study Library. My name is Lye Yosh. In this channel, I'll be introducing you some of these interesting and life-changing science and psychology by using scientific studies and articles. In this particular video, I'll be talking about the science of sleeping and how there's a technique you can use to improve your creativity. If you're interested and want to know more about these interesting science and psychology, then make sure to check my other videos out and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Life Study Library. Okay, let's get right into it. So what's cool about this is that this technique was actually used by some of history's most well-known artists and inventors like Thomas Edison and Salvador Dali, the ultra creative minds. So if we are able to implement this technique, we can become more creative in our lives and come up with new and better ideas or projects in our work and our overall daily lives, and therefore become more successful and greatly improve our lives. And if that's something that we can work on while we're sleeping, then we can super easily work on it since all of us need sleep and it doesn't need like extra time or money nor extra energy to do so. And this exact technique to improve creativity is to sleep until you reach deep sleep and then immediately waking up. The details of the study can be checked in the article Science Advances, which was published in December 8th, 2021. And the link to that is in my description, so if you want to check this out in more detail, then go check it out. So basically how you perform this creative technique is you hold something in your hand while you take a nap, preferably something that's made of metal like fork or spoon, and sleep while holding that object in your hand above ground. So like if you're taking a nap on a couch, stick your hand out while holding the fork so that it's above ground. And as you enter deep sleep, your body will start to relax and you let go of the fork. And the fork will bang on the ground when you relax and release it from your hand, and you'll wake up to that sound. And that's it. That's the entirety of the technique. I've tried this myself, and I know this is a personal opinion, but I must say, wow. Okay, so the simple explanation to what's going on is that as you enter deep sleep, when your body's actually resting, your body will begin to relax. So the grip on your hand loosens and the fork falls out the moment you enter deep sleep. And then, as the fork bangs on the ground, you wake up to it sharp and clear. All this happens because your body was in the deep sleep stage or the non-REM sleep. And whenever you wake up during this stage, you'll be able to feel as if you're well rested. In contrast, when you're in the REM sleep stage or the shallow sleep stage, because this is a shallow stage of sleep, you're going to feel very groggy after you wake up. I know it's a bad example, but think of when you're cutting something. If you're cutting with a dull knife, you tend to have trouble cutting. But if you cast a spell and your knife were to magically be really sharp, then you'll be able to cut it very easily because it's sharp. Additionally, the study specifically looked at different stages within this non-REM sleep. They're called N1, N2, and N3. And as the number increases, you enter a deeper stage within the non-REM sleep. So you first enter the REM sleep or the shallow stage. Then you enter the non-REM sleep or the deep sleep, and within it you enter specifically N1, N2, and N3. And then you come back to the REM sleep stage again, and then you go back to a non-REM stage and you repeat this cycle. So if you measure your sleep cycle, you normally would have a quintic graph or like a line that wobbles vertically. But yeah, so essentially this sleep technique forces you to wake up during your first stage of your non-REM sleep when you just started to enter the deep sleep stage. It's been said in the past that humans spend about 5% of their sleeping time within the N1 stage, the shallowest part of your deep sleep stage. But there hasn't been a lot of studies conducted about this specific stage. So today's study looked closely at the first stage of your deep sleep and tried to figure out what kind of benefits you can gain from it. So the deal with the N1 stage of your deep sleep is that this is the earliest part of your deep sleep stage, meaning that your body hasn't fully submerged in the deep sleep stage for a long time, but is still being well rested. And when you are able to wake up precisely when you're at this stage, you'll be able to experience a feeling of rejuvenation and thus become focused again and be productive. And now let's talk about the details of the study. The researchers gathered 103 healthy individuals and made them solve a math problem / idea spark quiz, where they had to guess the last digit within a sequence of numbers. Actually, I'm going to let you try this for yourself, so here's the problem. It's in the description, so check it out. So the direction is to figure out the 9th number within this 8 number sequences. 991144141. What comes after 1? You can pause this video and try it for yourself. There's actually a certain way to mathematically solve this, but there's also this hidden rule that's kinda tricky and it requires you to be creative. And if you can find this hidden rule, then you're going to be able to solve for the last digit super quickly. The samples would first try to solve this problem, probably through mathematic methods, and then were given 20 minutes of break time during which they had to close their eyes and nap while holding a cup in their hand. They were instructed to wake up to the sound of the cup hitting the ground when they relaxed and their hands let go while they slept. And right afterwards, they tackled the problem once again. During all this process, they were connected to this machine that measured their brain waves, and the researchers studied the relationship between the N1 stage of their sleep and the increase in creativity. Okay, result time. So the results showed that out of the 103 samples, 24 were able to enter the N1 stage of sleep at least once during the 20-minute sleepy time. Another 14 of them went past the N1 stage and entered deeper stages of sleep, and the remaining samples weren't able to sleep at all. And when this was compared with the result of the test, the researchers found out something very interesting. It showed that the samples who successfully entered the N1 stage of their sleep and woke up when they were in this stage, 83% of them were able to figure out the hidden rule of the number problem. Comparatively, those who couldn't sleep, those who couldn't enter the stage, only 31% of them were able to solve the problem correctly. And out of the ones that entered the N2 stages of their sleep, those who slept too much, only 14% of them were successful. And yes, I do understand your concern that the total sample number of 103 people isn't enough to confirm that this applies to everyone in the world, but it's definitely an interesting introductory study, and I definitely support it to conduct further, more detailed studies in the future. But yeah, at least this study can suggest that waking up from short naps will increase the probability that you'll successfully become more creative and find the hidden rule, approximately 3 times as much. On the other hand, this does not happen when you sleep too much or too little. So when people say things like, it's okay if you take 3 overnighters as long as you spend the 4th day sleeping the whole time, in terms of improving your creativity, this is an incorrect statement. And also the method that I just talked about is much more time efficient if you think about it, because in theory, you don't even need to spend that much time sleeping within the N1 stage. All you have to do is be in that sleeping stage for like 30-40 seconds max, and make sure you wake up while you're in it. You don't have to wait for a kiss from a prince. Depending on how fast you can enter the stage, you can make your nap time even shorter. If you normally take about 10 minutes to fall asleep, but if and when you find out that you actually are entering the N1 stage in just 5 minutes, you can make this entire process even shorter. And by doing so, you might be able to see drastic improvement in your creativity. However, I do understand that this is far from a perfectly understood method, and the study hasn't figured out the precise reason why waking up during the N1 stage increases your creativity. The causal relationship between these two have not been studied well. The research team had looked at this sleeping stage and analyzed that this is a stage of sleep where a certain degree of consciousness still exists, but you as a person are not able to control it. You haven't fully submerged into the deep sleep stage, so your body is still a little bit awake. If you've ever heard or read about the stories of people like Thomas Edison or Da Vinci, you've probably read that they've only had like a few hours of sleep. And this has become a stereotype, and that's why people tend to link creators and inventors with a lack of sleep. However, I must stress that this is a huge oversimplification of the entire story. They do sleep properly at night. They just have an extra 30 minutes or so within the day for naps. A lot of self-help people will say that you have to cut down on your sleeping time to do work, but I have to say, don't do this. This is stupid. The majority of us need to sleep a substantial 7 hours or so, or else we'll be wrecked by the time the sun shows up again. But yeah, my bad. I was just repeating what you guys already know. Anyways, the researchers have also made a further analysis that the reason why this might be happening is because a very shallow consciousness that has the understanding that you are holding something in your hand allows you to pretty much spark your mind with ideas and a creative mind. So the next time you have to turn creative to come up with ideas, you might want to try taking a nap while holding a fork or a spoon in your hand and see what happens to you when you wake up to the sound of you dropping the whatever thing you're holding. Who knows, you might be able to come up with an idea that can save your career, or create the next iPhone, or come up with an idea for a new spacecraft. You all should give it a try. So that was it for today's video. Holding something in your hand while napping and waking up to the sound of the bang might make you more creative. Thank you so much for watching, and now let's talk about today's video and book recommendation. Today I recommend you a video from my channel called Activity That You Can Do Right Now to Improve Your Creativity. The link to the video is in my description. Yeah, so there's a lot of value in being creative. So for example, let's say there's this idea you and your group shares. Social group or business group or anything like that. And everybody else in the group besides you think that this idea is really stupid or isn't realistic or it can't be used effectively. But then you, being the creative individual that you are, will be able to come up with ideas that nobody has thought of, and your entire team or group can be successful because of that. One can easily appreciate the fact that people like Edison made our lives so much easier because of his creativity. Improving this skill can get you a long way, and honestly, besides just simply being creative, but being able to come up with ideas that benefit not just you, but also your entire community is a very valuable trait to have. And thus, for today's video recommendation, I have a video called Activity That You Can Do Right Now to Improve Your Creativity. The link to that video is in my description, so check it out. This particular activity, while it seems so mundane and seems like something that people do unconsciously, it is scientifically a highly valuable activity when you want to be creative. It is so effective that you might actually want to consider participating in next time you want to generate ideas by becoming creative. If you want to know what this activity is, then make sure to check out the video in the description. Now for today's book recommendation, today I recommend a book called Ideaflow, The Only Business Metric That Matters by Jeremy Utley. And the link to that is also in the description, so check it out. That's it from me. Thank you for watching and listening to Life Study Library. I've been your host, Lye Yosh. Thank you for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe to this channel if you liked what you heard and want to listen to more interesting and life-changing science and psychology. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.